Hello, dear listeners. In our program In Perfect Harmony today, it is an absolute pleasure to have our guest Kyochano Kikon. She is a woman who wears many hats and quite successfully too. Welcome to our program In Perfect Harmony, Kyochano.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, listeners, before we have an in-depth conversation with her, let me properly introduce you to her. Kyochano is a visionary music educator, festival director, and an advocate for artistic excellence. So, Kyochano, let's go back in time. Firstly, let's start. How did you start, or when did you start your musical journey?
I guess I would say that from childhood, from when I was a little girl. Like most Nagas, generally we grew up in that environment of music all around us. We hear it. And so I grew up in a home where my mother was always in music and making us sing from tiny age. 3 years old, I would be singing with my brothers. All my brothers sang. We would sing in church. And, that's how it began, my introduction to this. And of course, then my piano lesson started around the age of 10 with Mrs. Street in Shillong. And then it continued on throughout, and it still is with me all throughout my life.
Okay. Your musical journey started when you were young, but when your profession flourished, you just went, your accomplishments to leaps and bounds. And to know that you were also the founder of Music Academy Kohima. So can you please share a few thoughts on that?
Okay. Well, I guess that would say that it means that I've been very focused all my life when it comes to choosing a line that one could completely invest their life in. And I think I can say that about myself. From when I was class 11, 12, that's when I really knew in my heart this is the area I wanted to be involved in. Using music as a form of healing, as a form of building bridges. I think that was the main reason that drew me to apply for college in the US, and that's how I studied at the Biola Conservatory of Music. And then it just continued on with all the experiences that I was able to have, for which I'm very, very grateful. Then it went on to Amsterdam and then Laos, where I worked cross-culturally with all kinds of people. Then in Singapore as well, working there, and then coming back home, working with the grassroots in Nagaland, as well as different places in India. It has culminated to a point where I have had a very broad perspective of not just being instrumentalist or a musician per se, but the impact of what arts can do, the impact of what music can do to bless the person, because we all love music, all human beings do. So on a personal level, we are all drawn to music. Then on a community level, how that also brings people together, how it empowers and channels our visions, and everywhere you go, we know that music is always such a crucial part of celebration, or in terms of death, we're always using music to help us express our grief, and how just powerful music is, even to commune with God, how it also brings, certain music brings the presence of God, and we experience such spirituality. So in that sense, my music, or why I'm involved in this space, is because it just gives me so much of satisfaction. And also, God being such a creative God, I just feel so blessed. And to see how music changed people's lives, one of the takeaways that let me continue to pursue this with passion, and with challenges that come, it does not deter my determination to keep doing what I'm doing.
Okay.
Long answer.
And a great one.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Anyway, back to, again, Music Academy Kohima. Tell us how it started.
Well, it started with a desire and a response, again, to creating a systematic framework in terms of an institution for people who wanted to study music. So I used to teach piano a lot, and there are a lot of individual teachers who teach from their home or have studios, which are very, very good. It's all right. The only thing with myself is that I was teaching since the age of 16, and gradually it came to a point, because I realized that I can do more with opening a school. Now, why opening a school? It would not just benefit me, but it would also be an umbrella to hosting more teachers who may not be able to have the facilities to teach people in their homes all the time. Sometimes we need spaces, teaching, and a good place for people to come and learn. So it would help in employability for our musicians, because at that time, 2014, 15, there were very few institutes in Nagaland, besides Patkai College, which is MSSM now in Dimapur, and in Kohima it'll be the School of Music with Dr. Nilizu Uso, who started that 50 years ago, or 50 plus now. There were not many institutes in place, so I wanted to initiate that and to give that quality music education for our children, and even to have our professionals, music people, be involved in that, and also to create, a community where the parents themselves are educated on the value of performing arts and all these things, so that we can impact and build infrastructure for our state. Because we all know, we keep saying how talented Nagas are, and then we have to build on the infrastructure. Yes. We have to build on creating social impact in bigger ways. So those were the reasons why to provide quality education for especially the primary level. So we are not a college, so we don't give college degrees, but we can give certification because we're affiliated to Trinity College London. So in that way, quality education is given. Assessments are provided where it is a global assessment, certificates they can take anywhere in the world, and also to help a teaching community grow together. Because, when different subjects of teachers come together, and then there are different streams that children are exposed to. A piano student doesn't only have to learn about piano, but when they come and sit with other peers who are doing violin, who are doing singing, cello, drums, it just opens up, their viewpoints. It opens up their experiences and knowledge of different, instruments and different areas and different streams, in fact. And that, I think that is very healthy for all around development. And that's the purpose why.
Music Academy Kohima was started.
Yes, Music Academy Kohima.
Okay. So at this point of your professional life,
yes,
can we safely say that you are also a music educationist?
Okay. Of course.
So on that note, we've also learned that you have developed a music syllabus for Nagaland Board of School Education and designed programs for Allegro Kids. So can you share a bit on that?
Okay. The honor of having to make a syllabus for Nagaland Board of School Education was immensely because of my association with Trinity College London, and because it is already a system, a curriculum that is in place. From there, we were able to transcribe a curriculum that was relevant to our context in Nagaland, imbibing church music, imbibing folk music as well. So the Nagaland curriculum syllabus is unique in the sense that it does not only talk about Western classical music, but it also involves a little bit on Indian classical, then our own folk music. And the intermingling of all these aspects is one that is, I think, very, very helpful for our children growing up. And that when they asked me, it took some time, but we worked on that. And last year as well, I think for the government schools, another book had come out where it was an introductory book to introduce children to that aspect of music that is not just theory, but in terms of general knowledge and our folk music as well.
Okay, so this was for the Nagaland Board of School
this
Education.
is for, and Allegro Kids is a beautiful program which I love because it's to introduce toddlers, and parents to music in a very fun and playful environment where we let them experience rhythm and their imagination about musical sounds and musical instruments, where everything is possible. We want to encourage them not to come into a setting and say, and have a very formal environment, but where during play they learn more about music, and directly it's a whole environment which is curated specifically to develop those aspects: music, melodic, general awareness. And it is a very, very fun program, and I love it. And I think all the kids who have actually gone through it have done really, really well.
Okay, so is this Allegro Kids under, again, Nagaland Board of School Education?
Allegro Kids is under Music Academy Kohima. Okay. And then I have teachers who teach along with that.
Okay, Now, back to your achievements again. You have been awarded the Governor's Award for Music Nagaland in 2008.
I think it was primarily awarded to me for contribution in the field of music. And so that had to do with my early involvement in music and impact, education-wise, and for the fact that I had brought an international board of assessment into the state and how that was impacting a community, and it began a movement of where music was considered a worthy and dignified subject and profession. So it was the binarying of those aspects that shaped our community's outlook. And so I think those were the reasons why, because of course, our church involvement and the kind of people and how impacts were taking place.
Okay. Now, it's been over 25 years of your association with music, or more. It should be more, because
it should be more.
teaching music.
Yes, I think around yes, you're right.
So during this time, you also have the honor of being the president of the Nagaland Piano Teachers Association. So can you share a bit about the association, how it came about?
The Nagaland Piano Teachers Association was put together, and a group of piano teachers in the community came together, and these people were mainly who have studied abroad and have had at least a bachelor's in piano. And we came together to initiate the development of quality piano education, to empower piano teachers, not only in the main cities of Nagaland, but also in the rural areas, how we can facilitate their teaching development, how we can empower them through lesson planning, or even, having forums where we can share through workshops and performances. And that is the reason why the association was put together.
Okay. And you've also had a lot of international exposure, right from your studies in the US, your work in Singapore, Amsterdam, Cambodia, India, Laos. So can you share about your international experiences and how it prepared you to move forward in your profession?
Thank you. I think every experience in life, if we go with an open mind to learn, we learn so much. And all these stepping stones have been not stepping stones in terms of a ladder climbing up, but stepping stones to a bigger perspective of my musical journey, I would say, and how, the cultures and the people that have been associated in this journey has impacted me. And I would say that every place taught me something. I think in the US, I learned how to think about music beyond sounds, and to think about the philosophy of music and the purpose of music. In Singapore, I learned about how hard one can work, because their culture itself is so excellent in every way, and how timekeeping and coming on time and staying beyond time is normal, and it is not beyond, and how art takes more than clocking time of 9 to 5. I learned discipline from Singapore, because we're there by 7 o'clock and in the morning sometimes, and then I worked with a lot of professionals who were maybe doctors or scientists or businessmen, and when they were involved in a music program, they would all come. They would come after work, and the dedication is what I saw. In Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, I learned the love for just enjoying music. And that talent has no barriers, because I worked with villagers in Laos. Sometimes we could not even use the mics with them because they spoke so loudly. Because when you come, they take care of cows. And there was one moment where I was in a recording session with this lady and village girl. And she had a beautiful voice, very strong and powerful. But it's the type of voice where 1 mile away you will hear her, And why did she have that? Because she used to call her cows from so far, like. And so when we took her to the studio and made her sing, we had to put the mic really far away because it was not working. Technically, it's just overpowering the mic, So you learn those things along the way, and things can't be taught always. Things are just present, and passion is caught. I think those were the things I learned. And now, of course, in Nagaland, we are more systematic and sophisticated in our taste of music. And so Nagaland crowd, I think, is the most sometimes critical. And that is also good because we are always aware that there can be so many comments that come after everything. So that is another different water to swim in Nagaland. In terms of mainland India, all about rhythm, that has taught a lot, growing and learning with people who are very, very intelligent. And of course now in Kochi, learning beyond music itself, in terms of the whole plethora of musical arts and creative arts. You learn that culture actually is there, but the most unifying thing in every place that you mentioned is that music is a language and an expression that builds bridges. We don't have to be able to speak in a language that we understand in terms of written language or speaking language like Nagamese or English or Hindi. But when we speak in music and when we communicate in music, it is felt the same everywhere.
Okay. Now coming to the latest feather in your cap, tell us about the Brillante Piano Festival. This is your brainchild, so...
Okay, thank you. I'm very excited and honored to always speak about Brillante Piano Festival because it is a piano festival that incorporates many things. It incorporates education, incorporates performance, providing platforms. It has inclusivity in its forums, and it is for all. Basically, it is something that in a global stage, so blessed that it has actually grown from our small hometown, in a sense, Kohima, where it was mainly conceived of. The concept began in Kohima. 2017, I think, was the first edition. It was also in a response to what the youth were feeling in the community. As a teacher myself and very much in tune with what is happening in the youth, I just felt that there was non-stop lessons or non-stop learnings that took place without much platforms to showcase and also move ahead of our state, out of our state. At that time, I think task force was also just implemented, music task force. TaFMA was not there yet in the way that it is now, supporting, empowering other people. At that time, it was quite in its early stage as well, and so that's how it came about, to give platform to our youth. YouTube also was not so strong at that time, so it was that art was not very accessible. Education was not as accessible. Inspiration points of where you see people performing was not as accessible. So that's how it came. And we had the national, the local, as well as international experts come. So that is the main, highlight of the festival, is that we do something that's local wherever we are having the festival. Then we have a national representatives of all different kinds, and then we have international representatives as well, so that there is a dialogue that takes place not just in the local level but in national level, where people can talk about from different states what's happening, then international level where you can talk about current trends of where music is leading. And it has primarily to do with piano, and it has gone over to almost so many states in India, the participation, and getting the excitement of not only our home crowd, but people from all over who are willing to invest. Families come. It is not only a festival where, I think sometimes in music festivals, we think we'll just go and have fun, drink a little bit and party. Of course, those festivals are also there. But in Brillante, it is a whole community, and it's an ecosystem that we're trying to initiate, where the parents, the children, the professional, the brands, all the stakeholders in supporting music can come together and celebrate in a very meaningful way.
Okay. So how many editions have you had till date?
We've had 6 editions last.
And would it be too intrusive to ask about your future plans for Brillante?
No, it's not intrusive. We always want to dream bigger. I think last year, one of the main things I had said was that Brillante is all about awakening possibilities. And when you talk about awakening possibilities, it is the awakening of the individual, whatever is in their heart, the seed, that becomes alive, right? I think that's the point of awakening. It can be any kind of awakening in the government, in the individual, in the musician. And so we are open to how the festival can continue to grow, can continue to serve, and also celebrate everyone who has to be celebrated. So great plans. It has to move forward strategically and not just for the sake of having activities. Yes.
Okay, now Kyochano, please share your vision and the purpose behind Brillante.
I think the whole team and our group in Brillante, why we continue to have these festivals year over year, is that our purpose is driven by our unshakable belief in the transformative power of music. We hold a deep conviction that we are more than just creators and curators of musical experiences, but we are more than that. We are catalysts, we are impacting, inspiring, and initiating pathways for vibrant communities everywhere. That is our reason why we exist.
Okay. For, Kyochano, the musician, the educationist, we have come to know so much about you.
Okay.
Let's talk about Kyochano, the woman.
Okay.
So, do you remember the first piece of music that truly moved you?
I think it would be Chopin, Nocturne.
Okay.
Yes. I think it just transported me to just a beautiful feeling and a space somewhere within myself or wherever it was. And, it just was very, very impactful.
Okay. And if music were a language, what would you imagine it to be? For you, what will it be? Which language would it be?
Like which language? In human language?
Yes.
Like human oral
if
language?
Music were a language. Of course, music is a language. But,
Right. If I had to break it down to...
romanticize it.
That's very hard to answer because the first thing that's coming to my mind is, love, tenderness. Anyone speaking any language with a tone of tenderness coming from their heart, I think that would be, because you can say like any language, you can say Angami or French, or we could say
tenderness can be a language.
Yes.
It's a language of love.
Yeah. But so it's hard. Okay. Because I cannot
I think
answer.
Tenderness covers it.
Thank you for allowing me that to use tenderness.
Okay. Any instrument other than piano?
Well, I did grow up learning violin and guitar as well in school. Then when I reached class 9, then I had to just choose one. So I did do those instruments as well.
Okay. And the greatest influence in your life, both professionally, personally?
Okay. I think it would be my father. And
Your father
I've never
was such
said
a
that
towering
ever.
Personality.
Yeah, because he would use his mind before reacting emotionally. And I like that because I think as a woman that you just said it is so easy to sometimes stay in the emotional space. And so I've learned that sometimes it's better to take a step back, to think and evaluate and understand first. And so I think he was someone who actually taught me how important it was to understand people or to understand any situation before reacting. So that would be something, yeah.
Okay. So since we're on the topic of women, did you face any challenges, being in the leadership scene or being a female leader in the music industry, or, any bias or something you felt that this should not have been there, but I've overcome it?
Maybe not overtly. But sometimes, and it's not in a big way, but sometimes someone would actually maybe communicate through maybe their actions or the decisions they have that that you're weaker in some way, weaker in the sense of maybe you will not be able to do it because of constraints that we, as female, we may have. And sometimes that is also true. We don't have physical strength like men. All those things, and I'm not here to fight about those things, but there are times where I think we can be used to fulfill and to get what needs to be done. For example, to sweeten a deal, when a female is in the room and we talk about it and we smile, we can sweeten the transaction of decision making that takes place. I think everybody knows that. There's no point of hiding it. But in the process, after that deal is done, I think sometimes the honor is not given. And also the decisions after that are made without consultation. I think those are ways in which sometimes one could say that it can be a form of disrespect, where you're used only for a particular purpose of getting some things done. And at the same time, beyond that, you're no longer required because you've finished your part, whereas you were in the same table where that plan was made. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So it's not overtly and it's not directly, but it's in the way the system is done. And I think it's worldwide in a way that sometimes it's unfortunate that people may think like that. And it's not to do with all men. It's just the way maybe some women also discriminate against women only sometimes, so
That's
it cannot
very true.
It's not something you can say as women, but as human beings. So there's no reason to have a hue and cry about it, but I think we should all just be aware that we support and that we ourselves don't do the same thing to anyone else.
Now, in the music scene in Nagaland, how do you see our young musicians, the future of our young musicians? How far do you think we can push them?
I think
given the college education, the music education that they have.
I think I would really say that Nagaland, whether it's in the home, community, government, we're doing all we can to support our musicians, to support people with dreams who want to fly. The question is not how far can we push them. I think the question lies in how far are they willing to push themselves. Yes. And if you say that, then we can count in our fingers who will actually do well, because the extent of how far everyone is going to go is upon themselves. What they're willing to face, what they're willing to sacrifice, what they're willing to understand and focus and be determined and hang on and achieve that is up to them. Now there'll be a talk of not having enough economy or finance to support those things. Yes, those are always there, and so that is something that I think our government or our private sector also cannot give at the moment in Nagaland, in terms of when you talk about huge stars like Taylor Swift, or look at the amount of support she has in terms of the team, the marketing team, and all the in the industry, beyond the industry, the finances, the support, the sponsors, it is beyond millions, billions. They're talking a different ball game altogether. So that kind of support is something which is not even here at the moment. So that if somebody wants to make themselves really big, they have to go somewhere else. Because as a state, we don't have, our GPA is now, we don't even have that amount of money to have a superstar of the world yet, right? But as far as somebody is willing to work hard and find the right spaces and have faith, and also find the kind of, be smart about it. I think we have to be smart about choosing the kind of music, choosing the right subcategory within the industry where you want to be specialized in is very important, because everyone is not meant for the big stage as well, and so all the big stage people are not meant to be in maybe session or in the village doing field trips, recording music and transcribing, writing down music of our folk. So everyone, we need to find out where we can be our best.
Okay, thank you, Kyochano, for being a part of Akashvani Kohima in our program In Perfect Harmony. You have all our good wishes in your future endeavor, and we hope that you truly will be an inspiration to many women and many more musicians around.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Please like and subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell for the latest contents. Also, follow us on all our social media handles.